folks. Welcome to another episode, the final episode for season 4 of the Snowy's Camping Show. Joined as usual by myself, Ben, and my colleague Lauren. The last time this season, we're nearly at Christmas.
I feel like it makes it sound like we're not going to be together next year.
Well, nothing's confirmed yet.
What, didn't know you were leaving?
No, it is confirmed. We will be together again next year. But let's get through this episode first. Well, the outcome of this episode might determine what happens next year.
Yeah.
If you haven't already done so, you can subscribe to our channel on YouTube, where you'll see all of our latest content, and you can listen in on your favourite podcast app and join in on the conversation at the Snowy's Camping Banter Facebook group, where us and a whole community of campers and a lot of our brands are on there as well to join in on the conversation and answer questions. So jump in on the chat. Now, today we're doing a wrap-up. So season 4 wrap-up. I don't know. I didn't check how many episodes we had this season.
I did a really quick squiz and it was like, I think 15 or 16.
We're a bit up and down in our schedule this season because we're in a new studio. That was a big thing, and we kind of did less episodes, and then we tried to do more, and then we backed off, and so it was irregular. Apologies for that, but we got through the season and we're reasonably consistent, at least every 1 to 2 weeks.
I feel like we've sort of finished out what could otherwise be called a tumultuous.
I don't know how to say it.
Tumultuous.
I went to correct you and then said it and then realised I don't know how to say it either.
Yeah, I don't know how to spell it and I don't know how to say it, but if I read it, it's fine.
Let's go with rough.
Yes, or turbulent. Whatever. Yes, after a rather one of those sorts of years, I feel like we've sort of settled on a pattern that potentially is going to be good moving into the new year, right? With our little short sort of banter bites or little shorter episodes interspersed with some longer ones, because I think then it's not just variation for the listeners, right? But it's also variation for us.
Yeah, it is.
Which makes it a bit fun.
And it's more manageable because we don't just do this. We have other roles in the business that chew up most of our time, and then we quickly squeeze podcasts in between all of that, and having the shorter episodes means we can get stuff off our chest and talk to our community about it more often.
Yeah, and I don't know, I just had a thought in my mind. We've got a YouTube listener for a long time, and I'm not across the full username. I didn't write it down or whatever, but Tugboat.
Yeah, around for a while.
With a little black and white logo.
Yep.
Anyway, he commented on a recent episode that he'd been in store and then left, and then apparently saw you behind a spiky fence with a bunch of people, and she was like, "Oh, I'm pretty sure that was Ben behind the spiky fence." And it's just like, yeah, we don't just film and record podcasts, so we do other stuff. So
Lauren's on the phone all day in the office to customers.
Yeah.
I can hear you over the top of everyone. I'm usually listening in on your conversations and correcting you as well.
That's a bit rude.
I think you might be saying the wrong thing.
It is actually true for anybody listening, whilst it may or may not surprise you. I know that I cop a bit of flack for interrupting you and not letting you finish sometimes in the podcast and things like this. Good, Taryn, best buddy. But sometimes when I'm on the phone to a customer,
yesterday.
I'll get this flurry of messages from Ben go bing bing on my computer when I'm mid phone conversation with a customer, because he's eavesdropping and butting into my conversations. But I will say that yesterday you were wrong.
I was wrong. Yeah, no, I wasn't wrong. I misheard.
It's still great. I still love it. But
so if you call and speak to Lauren, there's likely a conversation happening in parallel between Lauren and I arguing the rights and wrongs of whatever we're talking about. But
you will also get my full attention if you call on the phone, just saying.
Lauren can multitask.
I'm very good at it.
I can't.
So
anyway,
we digress.
Yeah, that's the longest intro.
I thought it'd be really cool to have a look at what the most listened / watched episodes were for the season. So the top 3... Weird and Wonderful number 3.
I can't believe we're 3 episodes into Weird and Wonderful. We keep finding more strange stuff to talk about that people make for camping.
We've got to do a Weird and Wonderful number 4. And the thing I love about it is I get messages from people all the time to be like, "Oh, for your next Weird and Wonderful episode, check this out." So you've just looked at my piece of paper, so I think you might have read it.
I just looked.
But how many?
I was judging how messy your handwriting was.
How many listens of that episode, Weird and Wonderful, number 3, do you reckon we got?
You put me on the spot here. I'm going to pull a number out and probably way out. I'm going to go with 4,500.
Okay, so 11,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 11,000 people have watched that episode on YouTube, and then we had another 3,500 people listen to it on Buzzsprout, which is our audio only.
Wow. Okay,
which really surprised me because I just think and then the next most popular one was our new season, new gear episode that we did in winter, which had just under 6,000 people on YouTube and about 3.5 on Buzz as well.
New gear's a good one for us now because we're getting a lot of cool stuff come through.
Yeah, we're getting so much cool stuff. And so it really, we talk about topics, right, and questions and all sorts of things and try and interview brands and whatever, but people just love gear.
Yeah.
So the two top ranking episodes there was gear. Yep. New gear, weird gear.
All right. We'll lock them in for season 5. Season 5's Weird and Wonderful and season 5's New Gear.
And the third one, Keeping It Clean, shower, all about showers.
I didn't read the numbers at the end.
That was,
I've read it now.
Yeah, that was about 4.5 on YouTube and 1,000 obviously, and then just under 3,000 for Buzz, which is interesting. So weird gear, new gear, and keeping clean, being hygienic.
I guess it's maybe it's one of those pain points for people who are interested in camping but think, how do I not be a dirtbag while I'm camping?
I would say it's probably, if you were going to ask anybody what their obstacle to camping would be, it's not being able to have a hot shower or just feeling the feeling of being ick.
And there's some pretty cool solutions.
And then the second one would be sleeping. But now, showering options are awesome.
So what was your favourite? Do you have a favourite episode?
I don't like to pick favourites because there's so many different cool episodes, but I feel like our chat with Zempire was my favourite with Rich.
I mirror that, and I'm the same. I've enjoyed each episode.
Yeah.
I enjoyed all their interviews. But the chat with Richard from Zempire I just came out of it feeling like we'd almost weren't even recording a podcast. We just sat down with a beer and had a talk over the table and learn to hear all the stuff, all the questions that we had about their gear and their process and their brand.
Yeah.
It was just being recorded and we had headphones on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
And I really enjoyed that conversation, and it's really cool when just like it is in real life, right? Where you meet someone or link up with someone or whatever, that just you vibe at the same wavelength.
Yeah, and you walk away going, that was a really good catch up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that because obviously we saw Richard earlier in the year and it was just good to have a more in-depth chat with him. But anyway, that was probably my highlight.
It was good to have the Brendale team.
Yeah, we did. That was really great to have. We had Dave and Beck.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, no. Was it Dave and Jacob and Dave and Beck? I just had an absolute brain fluff about who it was. So it was Dave, our store manager.
Yep.
We did an episode on the islands.
Oh, we did 2, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
That's right.
So Dave and Jacob did rooftop tents.
That's right.
And then Dave and Beck did sort of island
camping.
The Queensland or Brizzy Islands.
That's right.
So that was really good fun to have those guys on.
I was thinking it was 3 in 1, but it was actually 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
And I think it's also really good because after that, I feel like a lot of people were saying, oh, I didn't realise you had a store in Brisbane. And so it's like, even though it's been there for a really long time, not many people necessarily knew that because obviously we're based in Adelaide and pretty much all of our content is in Adelaide, right? And our head office is here and this is where we're based. So not many people knew we had the Brendale store or the Brisbane store, which is cool.
There's still people in Adelaide who don't know that Snowies has a store here and it's since 1995.
Yeah, that's wild. It's wild to me that you wouldn't know that there was a Snowy store.
But then I guess if think of some random, in my world, it's a random subject or topic. I wouldn't know if there's a store because I can't think of, like if I was I'm putting myself on the spot here and I can't come up with a topic off the top of my head, but something that I just am not interested in. Why would I know that store existed in my hometown?
I guess also that a lot of what people want to buy these days, they Google. And the Google results that come back to you are this huge range of random e-commerce stores that you can deliver, order online and have it delivered to you. And you don't bloody know where they are.
Yeah.
You know, like I was looking at ordering something the other day from a website and I was like, I should probably just do a bit of due diligence because there are some scam websites around and just be like, where it actually is this business.
I ordered a phone case the other day and then I got a shipping notification from Hong Kong. I'm like, what? I thought it was just, did I order this from Australia?
That's weird, yeah. So I think in that sense, people don't necessarily put two and two together that we're an actual brick and mortar store.
Yeah.
But anyway, another really good highlight was our interview with OZtrail.
Big
that
brand.
was earlier in the year. And we've gone through, nearly 4 seasons without having them on before. So that was really good to have them on. And also I think it was pretty exciting or a highlight for this year was to see OZtrail sort of break out more into that forward driving space with their awnings and rooftop tents and their sundowner swags. And I know we sort of touched on them before, but it was really cool to see something different with that really like beautiful bluish grey colour canvas. Really, created that point of difference with and the colouring of it. And they look like some really good products.
A lot of the OZtrail products they've sort of changed a little bit in the last 2 to 3 years, their direction, the way they create stuff, and the OZtrail stuff, some of it coming out is really nice, especially that the range of what was the range called with the swags? Something Overlander range, sorry. There's a really polished range of stuff from OZtrail. It was good.
Yeah.
We had a bit of a glamping focus this year too. I wouldn't say focus, but we had a glamping flavour. We did a glamping episode, Gear for Glamping.
I just have an itchy ear, so I'm going to move my headset for anybody watching.
All right, just look away for a minute. Lauren's got a finger in her ear.
Sorry to our videographer who's going to have to edit me itching my ear.
Just be a little emoji appear over your face or something there to stop people seeing that.
Gosh.
Apologies in advance. And we had Maddy Bockett from Tilda, who do swags. They were on Shark Tank just recently and got buy-in from some of the sharks. Pretty exciting for them. So fancy is probably not a stylish looking range of camping gear to suit. So if you don't just want the traditional, or what we've always seen is canvas browns, maybe some blues and all the camping gear, they're creating a more stylish range of stuff for people who, like yourself, you like to have a stylish aesthetic challenge and want to have a certain look about your campsite and your gear. You don't just want to have khaki everywhere. Tilda are creating products to suit that market. And we've got their swags in our range. And we had a chat with Maddy. There's Maddy and I can't think of the girl's name. She wasn't available for the interview, which is why I can only think of Maddy's name.
I didn't watch the Shark Tank. Did you watch Shark Tank? We had a dinner thing on that night.
No, I saw the Instagram posts and stuff afterwards.
Yeah, I saw that.
They got some buy-in, but no, I meant to go back and watch it to see. I was really interested to see what the Sharks thought of that, because it is, if you look at our swag range in the shop, it's all brown, green, khaki, some grey, it's all dark, and then there's the Tilda swag in the middle. And there have been purple swags before, but even the purple was like a deep purple, so it wasn't really like out there stylish purple, but the Tilda swags stand out. And I was really interested to see what them as, experts in the marketing field saw in a swag that kind of does the same thing, but they've just added style to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But good on them. What else? Another brand interview that I was really excited about, and a brand that I was excited about getting on board with Snowies again was Joolca. And
that was our recent one.
Just a few days ago, or a few weeks ago, yep. Really interesting talking to Joolca because of their background and how they approach their products. And I guess it explains why a lot of their products are so functional, do what they're supposed to do, and look good as well.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of on the edge of regular, I suppose. They're pushing the boundaries of hot tubs and bamboo floors for your showers and all these sort of stuff. But it works. It's cool stuff.
I was going to say the hot tub is not something I ever thought I would get, but I'm like, ever since we did that episode, I've just been sussing them out, and it's just like, oh, it would be really good to have one of these.
We've got to demo one in the office, so maybe we'll
because especially if you're renting, right, and you don't have a bath.
Why would you? If you're renting, you don't have a bath. We hope you're getting a good deal. I suppose, sorry, I'm going to take back everything I just said then and realise if you've got a shower, that's okay. Yes. I'm just making an assumption that there is no
You were making an assumption that if you didn't have a bath, you wouldn't be able to wash it all.
Can we just cut the last 10 seconds of that conversation out? Because I said that out loud and then went, I'm an idiot. Anyway.
If you don't have a bath in your rental, I hope you're getting a good deal.
Can we let that go now?
That's your quote for 2024.
If you don't have a bath, I hope you've got floor space if you plan on putting a Joolca hot tub in there.
Or a nice veranda or a nice spot in your backyard.
Hot tub in your lounge room.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we've not had as much time to be as active in the Facebook group as we have in previous seasons. And I love jumping in there whenever I get a chance and just reading through the posts and seeing how much traction that group's had on its own. And there's some really great posts in there with people asking for some really in-depth information or feedback, and people just getting in and giving awesome advice.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
And there was a post recently that I saw in there, which I don't know how it went totally under the radar, but somebody requested a poll for you to get rid of your beard.
I don't know. I just commented on that because it's now, just double check your date. Yeah, it's definitely the 10th of December. So it's too late. It's not November anymore.
But you didn't grow a mo. Was that the purpose of the post?
Well, you said in an episode that you're going to, do you not remember saying it?
You
said for November you were going to get something about me growing a mo or shaving my beard or something.
This is what
and
you
then
get.
That disappeared.
This is what you get for being too busy. I cannot believe that I forgot about that.
Well, I'm glad you were
because
busy.
I was really, really committed to that at the time.
Well, I was really, really concerned that it was going to happen because if you say you're going to do something,
I totally forgot.
And I figured that was going to be at the forefront of your mind until you got what you wanted, and that was my beard removed. I totally
forgot.
So I stayed on the down low, didn't mention it. Someone brings it up in that I can't remember who commented, but thank you for leaving it till December before he made that comment.
Well, I think he actually got in the end of November and I just didn't see it until
maybe I
recently.
saw it then and thought, I'm not going to comment or anything. I don't want to highlight this anymore. So I commented now and said it's too late because I'm not shaving my beard off. I haven't shaved my beard off since decades.
Is there any other month of the year where shaving off your facial hair is a thing?
Can we wait till I'm like 10 or 20 years older and then I can shave it off and then I'll look younger again?
Nah. I reckon you'd rock a Merv though.
My family would disown me.
Merv Hughes?
Probably.
Nah.
No, that's not going to happen. Sorry. It'd have to be for good cause.
Right. If you're listening to the episode and you've got this far in, I reckon that we should propose a fundraiser to shave Benji's beard off and we can take suggestions of a potential charity to donate to, maybe like Op Flinders or some other charity around the country that works with getting, kids or people out into camping or into nature or, anything like that. If you've got a suggestion for a camping or outdoors related charity, comment it in here or in the Camping Banter episode, Camping Banter Facebook group or on the YouTube comments. And we'll do a fundraiser.
What if we
and if we meet a certain target, you shave your beard off.
We'll double down and you shave your head.
I've done that before.
So you say you'll do it. So is that
no,
is
I'm
that
not going to.
I've
done it already in my life.
Yeah, but not for this challenge.
No.
Well, you just go, no. You just go, nah, not going to happen.
I'll shave my eyebrows.
Okay. No, all right. If we get,
but I feel like, but Benji, for real, Are you telling me that if for charity you wouldn't shave your beard off?
I'd do it for charity if we had enough money.
Okay, you heard it here, folks. Heard it here first. Let's do it. Your beard will grow back, mate. And what is it, like a centimetre long max?
Yeah, I'll do it for charity. See how we go. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
You probably forget about it. You're too busy.
I won't. I'm making a note.
So I want to mention products that probably created the most conversation for the year would have to be, once again, going back to Zempire. We always mention Zempire in this podcast, right? But Zempire released a range of products this year that really did make you sort of rethink those ranges, mainly being the AirSP tents, to air pole, large scale tents that pack down small, and their monster beds, which is a self-inflating mat on top of an air mattress that's really comfortable. So, and they've got other cool products too, like their tables. They've got really cool, the materials that they use, but they haven't reinvented the table. They've just used really good materials. But the tents and those mats have really changed that category and sort of how you would consider what you would buy, because you can now get a 10-person tent that easily fits in the back of a hatchback if you want.
Yeah, which is a game changer, really.
Yeah. Yep.
The other awesome thing, which you may not have noticed if you're not on our website very often, and we haven't talked about it yet in the podcast, but it is a big 2024 thing, is that we've got our first OZtrail product in the range.
Oh, you love OZtrail, don't you?
Love OZtrail.
I've never really looked at it, but I had a look in the shop the other day and I can see how versatile it is, because you can cook sideways and you can do all sorts with it.
Absolutely love it. And, if you're a fan of Harry Fisher with Fire to Fork, then you probably would have seen it in use before. But we've got the Camp Braai, which is the standard size version of that. And that's our only OZtrail product at this stage. Hopefully, fingers crossed, maybe more in the future. Watch this space. But that's a season 4 highlight, even though we didn't flag it in the podcast yet.
That's a really good segue too to something else I just noted. That Cam is back on our YouTube channel. We've always wanted Cam to come back, and we haven't had the capacity to do more cooking shows, because that was a lot of work that went into doing those cooking shows.
It's a never say never on the cooking shows. We really still want to do more of those.
Still on the radar. It's just the logistics behind it. But we've managed to, because Cam works in our shop here in Adelaide. He's the assistant manager here. And we've managed to lock him in once at least a fortnight for an hour or two to do some videos, mainly on cooking stuff.
Yeah.
So he's done a few basic ones just to warm himself up again. He's going to do the OZtrail.
People have loved it, but lots of comments are like, oh, yes, Cam's back.
Yep. He's going to do.
I mean, he's never gone. He's never been away.
He's
just been gone from the screens, the silver screen.
We're going to get him to go over the new CFX5 fridges from Dometic, because he's all over 12 volt and that sort of things as well. So it's really good to have Cam amongst the mix with our product reviews, because he's full of knowledge and he's just generally a likable guy.
He is. And like when we had our podcast last season, when he was in the cooking show and stuff, we just sat around and had a chat. That was so good. Yeah. So I love Cam. And if you love Cam too, give him some love on his product review videos, because he's been a bit nervous, hasn't he? Coming in, doing it. It's a little bit different.
It's hard to get into a rhythm. Like you and I have done it so often now that we just jump in and it's like and our videographer knows it as well. It's just like a well-oiled machine. You jump in and you just start and you go. We know what each other expect. It's quite hard to start from scratch. So Cam did a few basic ones, but he'll relax into it and do some cool products. And it's good to have him on board. So welcome back, Cam. I want to mention one other realization I had. I think it was in our last episode. And this came to me while I was driving to work or something one day. And whenever we have an interview, we'd intro this person as though like we're thinking people don't know who we're interviewing. So we'd have this big build up and don't say who it is, and we'll do sort of a few teasers on where they're from, what the brand is, and then, this is who we're interviewing. And I just realized after 4 seasons that for each of those episodes, the title of the episode.
People know who it is before they even start.
The thumbnail that you click on, the heading that you read has the name in it before that. So everyone for 4 seasons has been listening going, we know who it is. You don't need to build it up. You've already told us. It was in the title.
Why hasn't anyone told us this before?
I said that to you in an episode and you went, oh, yeah. So we've both been in the same space for 4 seasons thinking people were sort of this big reveal
that's in the title.
People already made the choice to listen to it before they listened to the intro. So,
which is very funny, actually.
So we have to rethink our intros to interviews now. Yeah.
And rethinking intros and talking about interviews and things like that. Who would you like us to interview in 2025?
You're asking me or you're asking our audience?
No, the audience. Sorry, I should look at the camera. Who do you want us to interview in 2025? It doesn't, maybe a brand that obviously it would be a brand that we sell because then we already have an existing relationship with them.
Individual or an organisation?
Yeah, individual brand or a larger company, potentially even, even if you've sort of got some YouTube personalities or sort of people that you love within the industry that you would love to hear more about or have on an interview, relevant to sort of camping or hiking or caravanning.
Let us know.
Let us know.
We'll try and get them on board because we're really influential and everyone's just
we're not really influential, but we just love a good conversation, don't we, really?
We can only ask the question.
Yeah. Because I know potentially we might have something with Zolio coming up as well. Like that was something you sort of flagged as a possibility.
Yeah, I had a chat with Paolo from Zolio and interested to talk to him about satellite communication, and there's Global Star Iridium and how they talk to each other, and phones now have communication with satellites.
Save it for the episode.
I'm just doing it as a teaser. I haven't given away any details.
It's in the title, mate.
That's going to be a long title. There's possibility with that, him or someone from his team, which are really good because we're answering those meaty questions that if we go to answer it, quite often we make a phone call to these people and say, the customers asked this, these are my thoughts, am I on the right path, just to confirm that we're understanding the same thing. The episode allows us to speak directly to them and hopefully get questions from the community beforehand so we can ask them live.
Another piece of rather innocuous trivia that may or may not be relevant to majority of the listeners is my teenage daughter really loves The Voice. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And when we were watching the interviews, this guy came out on stage in one of the earlier episodes and did a song, and I was like, I know that guy. He's a Cedar Summit model.
No way.
And the guy bloody won the show.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
As a Cedar Summit model, not worked for Cedar Summit, just in there.
Well, I don't know if he works for Cedar Summit specifically or if he's just a model, but he's in all of the new sleeping bag range from like way back at the beginning of the year.
Right.
I was like, this guy's not bad looking, like that's why I remembered him. And then he walked onto The Voice and it was like, oh, wow, like that guy's a Cedar Summit model. And then he ends up winning the show.
Yeah, right.
So that's a bit of a piece of fun fact, bit of trivia.
Does he compare to Matt from Zempire and his modelling shoots with their recent range?
No, Matt from Zempire, I think, is the pinnacle of camping model.
Yeah, he's good.
He's a good value.
Yep. They're all in those videos now. All of the people who design and sell the product are also in the videos. So
yeah, I love it.
Have you got any more things to add? Because I've got one I want to wrap up on.
No, I don't.
That came about today.
But yes. So backtracking just really quickly and in genuine seriousness, because I know that we're getting to the end of the year. You and I are both really exhausted.
Yeah.
A large portion of this episode has been a bit of a ramble. But
I think the whole thing has been a ramble.
If you do have interview ideas for personalities or brands that you want us to look into next year, please post them in your YouTube comments or in our Facebook group.
Yep. We'll get onto it.
Right. What's your last one?
My last thing that today, so we just had a farewell in the office for someone who's leaving.
God.
Do you know where this is going?
Yes.
And
it's not relevant to the show
It's actually
at all.
a videographer who is always very neat in his presentation with his food. If he ever puts a bag of chips out, he doesn't just put it out, he folds the top down and it's always neatly presented. So he chopped everything up. And one of those things was chocolate croissants. And Lawrence turned up, picked it up, and
Thought it was Vegemite.
What is this? Lawrence never had a chocolate croissant.
Didn't even know they were a thing.
So we all started talking like, where have you been living under a rock? And then our web developer stands up and says, I never had one either. And I'm thinking, what world am I living in? But I think everyone else in the office knew what they were.
I originally avoided them because I thought it was a croissant with Vegemite, and I do love Vegemite, but wasn't sure how I felt about it on a croissant. And then I changed my mind and I was like, I'll give it a crack. And then I ate it and I was like, this is not Vegemite. And then I thought someone had potentially like cut the croissant and just put some Nutella or something in it.
Chocolate croissant.
And people were like, no, it's a thing. It's a whole thing.
So the funniest thing is it went from me grabbing snacks earlier and you saying, Ben, go and do your research. We've got a podcast shortly. And then I'm ready and find you in the kitchen toasting your chocolate croissants while we're waiting to do the podcast. So anyway.
That's a wrap, folks.
So interesting. That's a good point though. Your chocolate croissant or Vegemite, maybe people are confused and don't know. But
maybe.
Yeah, anyway. If you haven't had a chocolate croissant, let us know in the Facebook group.
Important contribution, Ben. Really appreciate it.
We've got to finish on a high. Anyway, that's season 4. We'll be back in January 20. Have we got a date? so organised we are.
Yeah, likely January 20th is when we'll be back.
January 20th, 2025.
Monday, January 20th, 2025.
Season 5. I like that our seasons are lining up with the year date. That's pretty cool. Never thought of that.
Never thought of that either. That's amazing.
We'll try and keep doing that.
Have a really safe and happy Christmas and New Year period. If you're doing traveling, are you going away?
Kids don't know yet, but we're going to Sydney just for a weekend in January. It's part of their advent calendar thing. They got all these clues to say what we're doing, but no, I'm going to be away for just at home over Christmas.
Yeah, I'm not going to get away until later in January, so I'm working through the whole
overland track.
That's in March.
March.
It's a bit further down the track, but I'm going away in January, and so I'll be working through the Christmas New Year period. But if you're going away, let us know where you're going, and what you've got planned, and make sure you stay safe.
Yep.
And look after each other.
Thanks for watching for the season 4 of the Snowy's Camping Show, and we look forward to talking with you again in season 5.
See you in the new year, folks.
See you later.